I'm Sue Vignola. I'm here in the Rancho Vignola kitchen, and I'm about to prepare and present to you a delicious dessert made with mangoes. This dessert is traditionally called a fool, which is a British word. I think it was popular in the 15th, 16th century. I have no idea why it's called a fool, but it's basically, they used to use gooseberries and mix it into a sweet custard, but nowadays we use stewed fruit with whipping cream. It's a very, very simple recipe, but it's very elegant, and it just makes for our delightful dessert after a rich meal for your guests. While you can use fresh mangoes in this recipe, they're not always available, and so I've chosen to use organic dried mangoes from Rancho Vignola. This is one of our most popular products. It sells out everywhere we go. They're very, very high in vitamin C. They're also quite high in vitamin A. And I recently read a study that talks about them lowering your blood sugar. So you're getting all those health benefits too. And another thing about mangoes, it always reminds me of the trip Rashad and I took in 2008 on one of our farm visits. We were down in Mexico, and we got carried in the back of a dusty pickup through these plantations that had been farmed for generations, meeting elderly farmers that were still growing mangoes the traditional way with no irrigation, as they'd done for centuries. Here we have our bowl of soaked mango. We soaked this last night. I've drained off the liquid, but I'm retaining it. For one thing, it is delicious, and we may need to thin out the puree a little bit. I use a Vitamix blender. I realize not everybody has one of those in their kitchen, but simple food processor works just as well. You may have a few more little lumps, but let's face it, mango lumps are still delicious. You can also use different kinds of fruit. You can use raspberries, or you could use strawberries, and then you could blend them up separately and make a layer in glass dishes, which would look awesome. But today I'm focusing just on these two simple ingredients. A pound of dried mango soaked overnight, and then with the whipping cream, as I whip it, I put a tiny bit of maple sugar or maple syrup, if that's all you have, just a tiny bit to sweeten, and vanilla powder, which gives a nice little dark fleck. So it's about 2 cups of fruit puree to 1 cup of heavy cream. This dish can totally be made non-dairy using coconut whipping cream or soy, or there's so many different vegan alternatives out there. So the texture would be slightly different, but it's certainly okay if that's what you'd prefer. So the first step is to blend a soaked mango into a nice consistency, adding a little bit of the soaking liquid as we go. I did end up adding probably a total of 1.5 cups of the soaking liquid, and it's lovely. It's quite thick. Now the next step is to fold the previously whipped cream, which is nice and chill, into the mango puree. Now we're ready to pour our mango and whipped cream puree into serving dishes. You are going to want to chill these in the fridge for a good hour, or you can even make them the day before, and they will be perfectly ready for your dinner party the next day. They'll save you some time on that day. You can top them with different things. And here's what we're gonna do. Take a little bit more of the cream, and we're going to do a little spiral here. I'm not really a world-class baker, so not so familiar with this. And we can garnish with some frozen raspberries and a few pistachios, which are such a beautiful color. They really add to the dish. I think that looks lovely. And if you want to be really special, you could put them into these. These are wine glasses, but fruit parfait glasses, and you have an excellent summer dessert.